opportunity to do yoga with Jen, Dean, and some other folks. And although I've done yoga for many years, Jen really helped me to focus on the breath and to realize how liberating it can be. That our breath can liberate us. When we need to call upon love, we can access our breath. It is always there for us. When we breathe deeply, we can focus on manifesting the love we want to share with others in whatever moment we are in. But we must practice. And so this month, we will practice with each other at the beginning of each worship service. We will take 5 deep breaths together, and when we're done, then we'll sing our opening hymn. So as you're breathing, think about the desire that you have for love to show up within you. Dedicate yourself to being loving, and trust that love will show you the way. So let's take our first deep breath together. Hold and breathe out. And another breath in. Hold, find that love in your center, and breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And one more time. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. And now join me in singing our hymn number 1009. Meditation on breathing. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I am the Spiritual Life Director for this fabulous congregation. Today I'm also the Worship Associate, the Music Director, and a choir member. And I use the pronouns she and her.
And they.
And they. Yes, today, they. I'm very happy to welcome our friend Lisa Morton. It seems like Lisa was just a member here, I don't know, last month or so, but she says it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago. And since then, Lisa's been traveling, I believe, and lives in Cape Cod. She was a minister at the First Parish UU in Brewster, I'm going to say this right, First Parish Brewster UU on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. She retired after 10 years. She also says she has the best husband in the world. I can attest to that. Cole's been very helpful this morning getting us started. And he also cooks and does laundry. They've been together for 35 years. So welcome, Lisa. And it's you.
As we gather this morning for worship, we have the opportunity to meet the spirit behind our separateness and the spirit of true love and true generosity which lies in our vision of interconnectedness.
UUCL is love plus connection equals transformation. I call you now into this connection part by lifting up some of the opportunities for being together that will be happening around here real soon. And of course, there's more on the back of your order of service and in the newsletter that we publish every Monday. This Wednesday night is Popcorn Theology. It'll be right here in our sanctuary at 6:30 p.m. Next week's Sunday service, our Right Relations Committee, our Right Relations team, and our board members who just went through a Right Relations training will be inspiring you with all that they've learned and talking about covenant and why that is so important to our Unitarian Universalist faith. January 20th is the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. We have been marching in this parade every year for years. So we will be doing it once again. It is Saturday is the 20th. It's at 1 p.m. We usually gather around noon. We will have more specific instructions after Dorothy and Ken go to the meeting and get us more information. We have a ministerial discretionary fund. This allows for me to help people who are having a little bit of a financial crisis and just need a boost to help keep them going. So we ask, it's a little bit low right now as at COVID, it kind of got boosted up. Everybody wanted to donate during COVID, which was great. It helped a lot of people, but we haven't had a lot of donations since then, and so I am looking for donations to this fund so that I can help some folks out. So if you want to donate, you can write a check and just put in the notes Ministerial Discretionary Fund, or you can go on PayPal and just make a note that that's what it's for. Let me know so that I know that it's coming so I can manage that. Thank you. There's a board meeting today at 12:30 p.m. in the sanctuary. You're welcome to come and observe and see how we do the work of the church. And this Thursday at 5 p.m. on Zoom, we're having a worship team meeting. You are all welcome to join, bring your creative and brilliant ideas, and we create worship together. All right, I think that's all that I have, so we are going to light our chalice. Judy, would you please do me the honor of lighting our chalice? You'll have to reach. There you go, she's got it. Let us create this sacred space by lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. I offer you these chalice lighting words written by the Reverend Margot Reinhardt. May this chalice bring us to the precipice of truth, where nothing can be hidden from the flame. And may we find the reckoning place where our souls burst open and into the liberating light. Let us sing and sign together hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
Oh,
the older kids to come forward and sit up here. I'm going to use, still waiting. I'm going to use this wheel to help me with this. And let's see what the words are printed on it. Can anybody read them? Happy. Less happy. Sad. Less sad. The wheel of life goes round and round, and everyone has a wheel of life inside them. It goes like this. We get a brand new bike and we're happy. We have trouble learning to ride it and we are less happy. We fall down and hurt our knee when we're riding our bike and we are sad. With practice, we get real good and don't fall down, and we're less sad. We never fall down anymore, and we're happy again. You know, this happens with adults also. They have a great day at work and they're happy. When they get home, they get a bill in the mail and they're less happy. Then they get a phone call that a friend is sick and they are sad. They paid part of the bill and they found out their friend is getting better. They feel less sad. They do extra work and they pay the whole bill and they have lunch with their friend who is now better and they feel happy. Now, take a look around when I ask this question of the adults. How many people here feel happy every minute of every day of the week? Raise your hands. See, no one feels happy every minute, every day of the week. How many of you feel sad every minute of every day of the week? Raise your hands. So you see, the wheel of life goes round and round for everyone. It never stays on sad, thankfully. It never stays on unhappy either. But there's a part of the wheel that never changes. Would anybody know what that would be? It's the center of the wheel. That's where God or the sacred or our families are in our lives. It is the part of us that holds us together when the wheel of life is turning round and round. So if we feel sad, let us not forget we are only in one of the parts of the wheel, and in life it always goes round and round.
Thank you. Can you all say thank you? Thank you. Now, I noticed that some of you like to do joys and sorrows before leaving, and so I thought, well, why not just do joys and sorrows all together before you leave? How's that sound, Presley? Okay, good. So I'm going to introduce it. I'm going to say some words, and then I'll invite you to come up and put stones in, okay? Okay, thank you. While we sit and sing and listen to the morning's message together, the threads of love are woven deeper into the fabric of our lives, deepening our awareness of life's joys and sorrows and pulling us towards truth and meaning. In our Joys and Sorrows book, you are able to write any significant joy or sorrow occurring in your life that you would like for the congregation to know. It sits on the table at the entrance of the sanctuary before the service, and I read from it before we take the time to participate in our weekly ritual. I'm going to scooch around here. Get that book. So for today, January 7th, so thank you note from Donna to me, brighten my day, from Dorothy. Thank you. So now I will invite you to come forward and place a colored stone representing your joys, concerns, and sorrows into the water. Let the many colors of our joys and sorrows mingle together, symbolizing the great adventure of our lives as we search for truth in this infinite universe. And Dorothy, could you please put a stone in for Deborah Wood, who is on Zoom today? Yes, thank you. Tucked back in this friendly neighborhood next to the tall pines, we come together to wonder and explore. This is a gift, and it is one that we sustain with our own time, talent, and treasure. So in this moment, we will take up an offering that will sustain and transform this life-giving community.
I have two readings this morning. The first one is written by Mirabai Bush. Pain and suffering may often seem to be calling us to jump in and fix things, but perhaps they are asking us first to be still, still enough to hear what can really help, what can really truly get to the cause of suffering. What will not only eliminate it, but perhaps prevent it from returning. So before we act, we need to listen, to really listen. The second reading is from the book of Corinthians in the Bible. The Apostle Paul wrote to the Corinthians about the human body, how it has many members, yet it is one body. All the parts are needed to function. The head cannot say, I don't need the feet, or the arms cannot say, I don't need the head. We are one.
Please join me in singing hymn number 84, How Far Can Reach the Sun.
Back in 1985, when I first came to my home church, First Parish Brewster in Massachusetts, I vividly remember sitting in my minister Jim's office. By the way, Jim was the one that taught me this. I was sharing the story with him of my unraveled life and the deep pain that I was in. And that at that point in my life, normally I would feel embarrassed sharing with someone that my life had become unmanageable and intolerably painful. But some of you here have experienced there comes a time in our lives when life becomes so painful that embarrassment is not an issue. The last sentence I remember saying to Jim that day, I need help and I need time to heal, but I hope someday I will be able to once again contribute to other people in the world. Little did I know what that would mean for me in the near future. I accepted help, mostly from Sunday services where I explored different facets of my life, my humanity, and my spirituality. As I began to heal, I once again began to experience my strength, and along with that, the strength of vague feeling, I can do this work by myself now. That was until I got mononucleosis. I had just started my undergraduate work toward ministry. I was a single parent of a 10-year-old and was working to support our family of 2. Now I was told to go to bed and stay in bed until I got better. I tried. Then, of course, there were always the little things that just had to be done. And the list of little things somehow kept growing, and my time in bed was less and less. One day, the stovepipe on our wood stove started leaking smoke into the room. And because I could barely afford it to hire someone to fix it, I had to get a new piece of pipe to replace it. I was just in the middle of almost getting the new piece in, and the house was filled with smoke, and the smoke alarms were blasting, and I was almost in tears. It was then a friend walked into the house and offered to help me. My friend was very firm. She told me that if I was sick, I should be in bed, and that if I needed help, help was available through the church. That offer of help was just the relief I needed. It was not easy to accept help, even as I was sick, but I crawled into bed and stayed there almost completely until I was well. Meals came in, calls to offer help with various household and parenting tasks. Often I found myself in tears when people were offering to help, or actually helping me get through my illness. When I meditated on those tears, I often felt they came not only from deep gratitude, but also out of the breaking of the shell of separateness and rugged individualism that I had developed in a lifetime. So it was confusing feeling, on the one hand, feeling of joy and happiness and connectedness, and on the other hand, a feeling of dependence, self-pity, and a fear of helplessness. Rugged individualism is not a bad quality to have in life. It's one of the things that the founding of this country was based on. It's one of the qualities that account for the survival of the pioneers who settled here and faced a world that often brought sickness, hunger, and death. Rugged individualism is a sort of pull yourself up by your bootstraps philosophy. And sometimes that's exactly what is needed for a person to get out of the life problems. Extreme create separateness. When practiced in life, rugged individualism can create separateness. It fosters the feeling that we can only trust ourselves to be there for us. Let us contemplate for a moment on what does it take to get bananas into our home. We go to the store, we pick out a bunch, we go to the register, we pull out a credit card or cash and bring them home. Is that it? I don't think so. How about someone having to plant a banana tree? Someone having to care for its growth? Depends on rain and sunshine. Pruners of the tree, climbers of the tree to harvest the crop, sorters of the bananas, packers of them to ship to our country, all the people involved in shipping, airplanes, railroads, or pilots, or engineers, local transportation. Then they are the truck unloaders and the supermarket clerks who place the bananas on their shelves. That is how bananas get into our home. That is a lesson on how connected we are in this world. There are many valid reasons why many of us deep inside do not really trust anyone but ourselves. A friend of mine, Jane Lowy, gave me permission to share a story with you about her childhood. The story was a sad lesson she learned from her father. She and her father were walking in the park, and she was walking up on top of a stone wall about 10 feet tall. Her father was walking next to her on the ground. At one point, he told her to jump, and he would catch her. She readied herself and aimed toward her father's arm and jumped, only to have her father step aside, leaving her to fall face first on the ground. When she got up, he said to her, "That will teach you. Don't trust anyone, not even your old man." For many of us, our experiences of mistrust have been even worse than that. For others, they have been much more subtle. Yet they create the same feeling of mistrust, isolation, and fear of intimacy. Some time ago, Jane and her husband Kevin went on a weekend, sort of an outward bound type program. One of the exercises was called a trust fall. A person climbs up onto a ladder as far as they feel comfortable, and a group of people down below are there to catch you when you fall backwards into their arms. The people down below were given directions of great detail for safety, and the person falling is told to cross their arms in front of their chest, stiffen their bodies, and let go. You are asked to keep your eyes open the whole time. Then the exercise began, and Jane watched person after person safely fall into the arms of those below. One person weighing well over 200 pounds. Then it came to be her turn. She climbed up, and many fears arose within her. She wants to say the words, "I choose to fall." Jane ready to fall, and the group would say fall. And when Jane was ready to let go and fall, she was to say, "Jane falling." She finally got her courage up to fall, and she told me that even though she could see the people who were waiting, even though she had seen them catch everyone so far, that when she got inches from their actual catching her, she absolutely believed in her mind and body that they wouldn't catch her, and she screamed and then connected with their arms and support. How many times in life have we been let down? How many times have we been abandoned by someone? How many times have people lied to us in a way that led to our hurt? How hard is it for us to trust people? In order to open ourselves to the help of others and the realization that we are not in this alone, but we are indeed connected to people and things around us, we have to believe many things. One, that we are a worthy person and deserve help and support. That we are capable of finding a trustworthy people to associate with in life. That despite our efforts, sometimes we still will be let down and betrayed. For that, helping and being helped are circuitous. and flow back and forth in the universal laws of being. That being help does not have to carry it with it the fear of dependence, of helplessness, or the fear that we will become a self-pitying blob. Merle Shane writes in a book entitled When Lovers Are Friends, quote, "When I was a child, I had a friend who had parents who weren't as generous as mine, and often when we, as a group of us, went off to swim or play a game, she disappeared without a word. Later, I find out she had spent the day crying on her bed rather than let us know that she lacked a bathing suit or a tennis racket to come along. I can't remember how I found out or how long it took me before I caught on to her. But after a while, whenever she vanished without a word, I'd slip away, get an extra suit, and turn up at her door and flush her out. While she dried her tears and came along with us, I never thought twice because it was easy for me to do. Never discussed it with her or anyone else, and it would have been forgotten long ago if it hadn't happened that when we grew up, she got rich about the time I got poor, and then the relationship was reversed. It wasn't until then I realized how hard it is for me to receive, how difficult it is to trust, or how much power the giver has and how much control. And when my friend and I had struggled over one restaurant bill too many, and I had lost again, I said to her, "Look, we have to talk about this. I consider myself, you've made up for the bathing suit over and over and over, and I consider myself paid back in full." She replied to me, "Bathing suit? What bathing suit? I don't remember any bathing suit. I just know I give you what I have to give and wish I had more to give, and you give me something I can't get anywhere at any price." It takes great generosity to accept generosity, far more than it does to give. So for many of us, it is very hard to do. I always try and keep in mind it isn't possible to find myself just within myself. We find ourselves in others, in loving and caring for them. We love and care for ourselves. So taking care of each other is what makes us human. We must share the privilege. How about the statement, "I don't want to be a burden on anyone"? How often have we said that, or thought it, or heard it from someone that we were trying to help? Kevin's experience in the Outward Bound program was a bit different than Jane's. Although Kevin had fewer problems with the trust fall, he found his reluctance coming up differently. When the group was given instructions for the exercise, they were told to remain supported for a time in the arms of the people who caught you and were supporting you. Kevin climbed up, got in place, and then let go. When he was being supported by the group, he jumped up and said, "Okay, that's enough, can't stay here all day, who's next?" Later, upon reflection, he realized he didn't want to be a burden. And then he doesn't want to be a burden in life. How much time do we deserve? Are we only allowed an instant of support, or is it a novel new idea that we might be able to ask for and get as much support as we need? In China, when children are very little, they place large blocks in their learning space. These blocks are too big and too heavy for any one child to move alone. But two children can build quite a magnificent structure together, doing together what cannot be done alone. Some tasks, some crises, some problems are much heavier and bigger than we can handle alone. but together we can share the burdens of life. I like the way Ram Dass puts it in his book titled, How Can I Help? He says, we walk each other home. I like that image. It's so ordinary, so real. It reminds me when I was a kid, in the late afternoon on an autumn day, playing with my friends out in the field or having a rotten apple battle. Then comes the time for dinner, and one of us would say, hey, I'll walk you home. And we do just that, walking and talking about nothing whatsoever, and it is full, and it is alive. I also remember in my teen years the fascination of talking with the boy at lunch at school, and the bell would ring and he would say, hey, I'll walk you to your class. And we'd steal a few extra moments of company and conversation that had everything to do the way my heart beat and nothing to do with what we were actually saying. Walking each other home is a way of saying, let me join you in your travels down the path of life, and on this path we sometimes give and we sometimes receive. Jesus once said, who has greater love in a person than this, that he or she laid down a life for a friend? I think a lot of helping we do involves laying down our lives. Rarely that might be literal, but more likely it is that we will have to lay aside some compelling project or goal, or something we may be interested in at the moment that we have to refocus our energy and attention for a while on a friend in need. Then, do we allow them to lay down their lives for us when needed? Do we really walk each other home? Do we accept the extra bathing suit, or tennis racket, or dinner out? Accept bananas in our home? Or accept the command to get to bed and get well and don't worry? Or do we hold the power by being the one who never needs help? Our society tells us a lie, that it is the good people, the strong people who never need help. It is a mythology that breaks the connectedness of our interdependence as humans. If we can remember that, we accept help from someone, it is not because they are greater or better than us, but because we are valued by them. There is an old rabbinic tale which goes, and the Lord said to the rabbi, come, I will show you hell. And they entered a room where a group of people sat around a huge pot of stew. Everyone held a spoon that reached the pot, but it had a handle so long it could not be used to reach their mouths. The suffering was terrible. Soon the Lord said, come, I will show you heaven. He showed another room identical to the first. There was a group of people sat around a pot of stew. The group of people had the same long spoons, but everyone here was happy and nourished. I don't understand, said the rabbi. Why are they happy in here when they were miserable in the other room and everything was the same? The Lord smiled. But don't you see, he said, here they have learned to feed each other. This fable is not just learning to eat that is necessary, but to be willing to be fed by another, which keeps them not only alive, but happy. It is our choice. Our lives can be hell as we keep trying and trying to eat with too long of a spoon, or it can be heaven by being fed and feeding others. May we acknowledge our needs and reach out for the help we deserve. May we end the myth that the good and the strong have no needs. May we be more enlightened in our interpersonal relations by observing the deep interconnectedness present in all of life, in the daily miracles of the earth and of the universe. Blessed be. To the God of our understanding, we pray for help with our needs. We pray as we feel our lips parch with thirst, that we can recognize the vessel that carries the water, even if it does not look as we expected it to look. We give thanks for the model of the universe in giving and receiving. May our heart be more open to its teachings. Amen. Closing words. Our strength is a miracle. Our weakness then is a greater miracle. May we go forth with our needs, and may they lead us to a deeper meaning with life and with others.
We extinguish the shadows, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. I just want to say thank you very much, Lisa, for delivering a very deep and meaningful message today. What a wonderful message to start off our month of liberating love. It was so wonderful to have you with us today, so we hope that we see you again soon.
It was an honor to be here, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the rest of you, go out into the world now. Keep this message of love with you. Ask for help, help others, and remember that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are a blessing. And join us in the social hall. We can feed each other. Sure, John.
January 6th was Epiphany. That's All Kings Day. It's celebrated in Latin America as the kind of the Christmas where gifts are exchanged. It's the 12th day of Christmas, and the Epiphany is when Christianity, it wasn't Christianity then, but what Jesus was opened up to everybody. It was accepted by Gentiles as well as available to the Jews. And the tradition is that there's a bread that's baked on the Epiphany. It's called the Rosca de Reyes, the bread of the kings. It's in a shape of a circle. It has orange, red, and green candy fruited on the side that represent the gifts of the wise men. Inside the bread is hidden several, well, there's one, but in the big ones, it's several little dolls. So, to be careful. If you get one of those dolls, which represent hiding Jesus from Herod, who wanted to kill him. And if you get one of those, you're blessed. But the obligation you have for getting one is that the next feast, which is the Feast of Candelario, February 3rd, you're supposed to be in charge of that feast. So I hope everybody enjoy it. Okay.
John brought bread today for the king's bread.
Right. Yes.